morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sobriety for Beginners, because I know that I'm just a beginner in all this. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat this morning. Got to go to a meeting last night, and it was a good meeting. It was a meeting about change, seeing myself change and seeing, my habits change, my behavior change, and how other people start to see the change in me, and it was a good meeting, and I can definitely say, I'm seeing a change in myself, and other people have started seeing it as well. Just because, I'm thinking more clearly, I'm remembering things for once, which when I was drinking never happened. I would forget about things, weeks would go by, and stuff would never get done. Things would just kind of start to fall apart, and I would forget a lot because, I was too worried about drinking. I was too worried about how am I going to get my next drink? Who can I manipulate today? Who can I, convince that there's nothing wrong? And, my mind was so wrapped up in the drinking, and it was so wrapped up in creating this facade of, everything's okay, that normal daily living, normal things that were happening would just fall apart. They would fall into the seams. So I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. Glad I don't have to work so hard mentally to try and cover up a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, because it's exhausting. It really is. It really is exhausting, because you would tell someone one story, and then you would forget what you told them, and then you would tell somebody else a completely different story, and you'd forget what you tell them. And it's hard. It's hard keeping up. It really is. And then just trying to remember, did I pay the electric bill? Or I gotta call this company because something's wrong with this in my house. And like all these things would just get left behind because I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening. I wasn't remembering a lot of things, and that has changed, and it's nice. I've been keeping like a little reminder or like a little to-do list in my phone of the things that I got to get done, and those are a good way of me trying to get everything squared away throughout the week, and so it's nice. It's nice not having to worry about all that extra stuff, because there was a lot of extra stuff, and that's hard. It's really, really hard to try and mentally fit all that stuff in. It's not worth it, believe me. And I can see, other people not wanting to change. And I met someone in AA, and, we've become really good friends, and we text all the time, and, we get along really well. And, right now they're at a point in their life that they're struggling, and they're not willing to change. And I'm one of those people that I will go above and beyond to help you. I will, bend over backwards, and I will do everything in my power to try and help you. Like I'm broken, so I'm a fixer. I'm gonna fix you, and I'm gonna do everything I can to fix you. And this person isn't willing to change, and I'm trying to fix them, and it's not working. And, I just have to, get to the point of, like, I'm doing everything that I can. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a horse drink. And it's almost at the point where, I've said what I've said, I've done what I've done, and, if they choose to continue what they're doing, that they can choose to continue to keep relapsing or keep going back to it, then I just need to move on almost, I just need to continue my sobriety, because if I keep wasting all my time and energy and keep putting myself out there and keep working and working and working to try and help this person, but yet they're not taking my advice or they're not wanting to change, the only person that's getting hurt is me. And it goes back to the same thing that I deal with my mom. Water seeks its own level. And you can try as much as you can to help someone, but they have to be the one to make that decision. And, I will always be there, to help, because that's what I do. I'm a helper. I will never say no. I will always go above and beyond to make sure, like I'm doing my part. But until they decide that they are going to make that change, I have to learn to move on, because if not, I'm going to get hurt and it's going to mess with my sobriety. And my sobriety is, to me, my ultimate number one. So I have to just accept that. And it's hard to, because I want to fix them, I'm a fixer. I want to fix everybody, but I can't. And they have to make that decision, and I can't make that decision for them, And, someone I was talking to recently said, that relapse starts with the behavior. Relapse starts with going back into the same behavior that you've had before. And my behavior has always been, seclusive. I've always pulled myself in. Stopped talking to people, and just kind of lived in my own world, my own self, and not reaching out for help, and not talking to people, not being accountable, stopped going to meetings, things like that. And I have to change that, because that's where the relapse starts, is in the behavior, going back to that same behavior again. And it's easy to do, especially right now, because of what going on with, the pandemic and the quarantine and all that stuff. It's easy for me to be very seclusive, because I have nowhere else to go. I can't go out a whole lot. So it's easy to, fall back into the behavior. It's easy to sit on the couch and watch 4 hours of YouTube and not get anything done. It's easy to stop talking to people because they have other lives to do, It's easy to do that, but I can't do that. I can't go back into that behavior, that seclusiveness, because that's where the bad behavior comes in. The boredom, the seclusiveness, the loneliness, and that's where the drinking begins. And so I've been purposely giving myself little projects, We got some flowers, so I've been planting flowers with my daughter, and this weekend we're actually going to go to Lowe's and buy some more flower pots and some more soil, and I bought some more flower bulbs, I have a black thumb. It's terrible. We did, this is so sad. We did plant some daisies, and it was in like this little tiny flower pot, and there was about 10 of them sprouting up, and we were so excited, but I accidentally overwatered them, and it kind of broke up the soil and started lifting the plants out of the soil. So I may have accidentally killed the daisies. I don't know. I've been packing the soil back in, excuse me, and just lightly watering them, hoping they'll come back. I don't know. But it's hard. Those little teeny tiny pots, like if you put just a tiny bit too much water in there, the dirt's gonna start floating, and it's difficult to try and monitor those. So I may have already killed them. I don't know, but we're trying, okay? Give us a break. So I've been working on that. I've been working on other little projects, it's like just daily things to kind of keep me busy, because it's easy for me to sit back on the couch, watch my YouTube, stop going to meetings, find reasons not to go, and start back in that behavior again, So it's the change. I'm trying to make the change. I really am. I'm trying to make that change, and it's change for the better, because I can't go back to it. I can't go back into that depression, that loneliness, that woe is me kind of thinking that everything's so bad, the world's so awful, and the boredom, and not having anything to do, and the only way to make it go by faster is to drink, or the arguing and everything else to go with it. Like, I need to change that. I need to add some more into my life as much as I can, really. So it was a good meeting last night. I really enjoyed going to it. I really enjoyed going to my meetings. I didn't get to go last week because we were still on quarantine. My daughter had a kid in her class that tested positive for COVID, so we had to keep them home. We had to quarantine for 14 days, and that drove the kids nuts, drove me nuts, because they were bored and they wanted mommy's attention 24/7, and I don't have all that attention to give, so quarantining was hard, but at least I got to go back to meetings, and at least I got to see all my friends and stuff, and I got my 7-month chip when I went. It's a week late, but that's okay. Still got my chip. But it was good to go, and I'm glad that I get to go back again, so it's good to have all these meetings. And I'm not in my normal spot. It's raining today. It's kind of gloomy and wet and rainy, so I'm just chilling on the back porch, on the back step, just enjoying the morning and listening to the birds and everything else to go with it, so it's gonna be a good day. It's Friday, and we've decided that this weekend is going to be the weekend that we're not going to have anybody over, because the last 4 weekends we've been having company over to our house, and so finally this weekend is the weekend of having nobody over, so that way we can actually get stuff done and not have to stress about hurry up and clean the house all at one time and get everything done all at once. This is going to be the weekend of us with no company. It's going to be nice. So I hope everybody else is enjoying their week, and I will talk to you in the next one.